Hey, Jay. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
Thank you for your patience as people were leaving and people were coming and people were greeting and loving and kissing and doing all the things that we want people to do at the high holidays. You know, we always talk about the forgiveness that we ask for before we hear the Kol Nidre. It's been a very important part to recognize our shortcomings and I humbly want to beg your forgiveness for a 2-hour and 40-minute Rosh Hashanah morning service. It will not happen again, I guarantee you. It will not happen again, 2 hours and 40 minutes. But the spirit in here is always amazing. So tonight's Shabbat. It's not just Shabbat, Shabbaton, Yom Kippur, it's Shabbat. So we're going to start with a nigun. A nigun is a song without words. And it's one of my favorites for Shabbat. And I hope that if you know it, you'll sing along. And I hope if you don't know it, that you'll be able to sing along after 1 or 2 times. Okay? So give me that mic for me. There we go. It goes like this. Die, 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 die. Swaying is permitted. Die, 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 die. Die, 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 die. Die, 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 die. Again. Die, 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 die. Die, 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 die. Die, die, die. From the beginning, just you. Oh, you sound great. And we'll see if we can get the air conditioning up, but it's 52 degrees outside, so we don't know if it's going to work, but we'll give it a shot. Please fan as much as you want. Okay. The first thing we do, of course, is to light candles. There is no Kaddish, obviously, because we're fasting. But if you look in your books, where am I? We are on page 9. It's our custom, as you are able, to rise for lighting Shabbat candles. I'm going to ask my wife, Barbara Gibson, to lead us in that prayer. There's an English reading, and then the prayer to light the candles, and then Shehecheyanu.
The human spirit is the lamp of God, searching out what lies within us. Guided by the flame of conscience, on this sacred night, we search for truth. Shine your light upon us as we strive to serve you. May we find safety in your faithful love. We light the flame of healing and forgiveness. On this atonement night, we give thanks for love. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu b'hadlik ner shel Shabbat v'shel Yom HaKippurim. Source of blessing, eternal our God, you fill the universe with majestic might, teaching us holiness through sacred obligations, giving us the mitzvah of bringing light on Shabbat and Yom Kippur.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam,
Shehecheyanu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Page 10. For those who must eat during Yom Kippur, Rofecho Basar, healer of all living creatures, I thank you for the breath that is in me, for the community of Israel that lives, for the possibilities of today and tomorrow. May my eating be as a fast. May it be dedicated to you, to tshuva, to the renewal and restoration of my relationship to you, to others, and to myself.
On the facing page, the sages of the Mishnah teach on the Day of Atonement these are forbidden: eating and drinking, washing for pleasure, perfuming the body, sexual relations, and wearing leather shoes. Together, it shall be
a Sabbath of Sabbaths for you, and you shall practice self-denial. From evening to evening you shall observe this, your Sabbath.
Abstention, affliction, self-denial. It is a Sabbath, a full rest, a complete stop, a cessation from everyday pleasure. Some wish us an easy fast, thinking only of food. It is more than that. Eating and drinking, washing, perfuming, and sex. But leather shoes, why this? Of all these pleasant acts, wearing shoes is the most public, the one most seen by others. But perhaps it is because shoes are a symbol of the path of our lives take, the choices we make along the way,
the roads not taken, a symbol of our journey in the year to come.
Page 15. Kol Nidre, a chant that begins in a whisper and rises to a cry. On this night of promises remembered, each soul in solitude communes with the soul of the universe. God, from this Day of Atonement to the next, may we reach it in peace. All Israel makes these vows: to turn from wrong, dishonesty, and greed, to walk in the path of justice and right. Yet we know our weakness, how prone we are to fail. Help us to keep our word. Help us to act with humility and integrity. We seek pardon and forgiveness. We seek your radiance and light. Please remain standing as the ark is opened and the Torah scrolls removed in preparation for the Kol Nidre, as our wonderful teens sing, Or Zaru ala Tzadik ul Yishrei Lev Simcha, light is sown for the righteous. בישיבה של מעלה, בישיבה של מטה, על דעת המקום ודעת הקהל, אנו מתירים להתפלל עם העבריינים. With one voice, assembled sages, past and present, declare, all may pray as one on this night of repentance. Let none be excluded from our community of prayer. With one voice, God and congregation proclaim, all may pray as one on this day of return. Let all find a place in this sacred assembly. We turn to the page, next page for Kol Nidre.
Shabbat.
בטלים ומבוטלים, לשרירין ולקיימין, נדרנה לנדרי וסרנה לאסרי ושבותנה לשבות. Kol Nidre וסרי וחרמי וקונמי וכינוי וכינוסי ושבועות דין תרנה ודשתבנה ודיאחרינה ודיעה סרנה נפשתנה ביום כיפורים זה עד יום כיפורים
Please remain standing as the Torah scrolls are put back in the ark. We're on page 20 at the top. Slach na la'avon ha'am hazeh k'godel chesdecha, v'chashen nasata la'am hazeh mitzrayim v'ad hena. Together, Moses prayed to God, as you have been faithful to this people ever since Egypt. Please forgive their failings now, in keeping with your boundless love.
Page 21, I bow, I face the ground. I fall before the Most High. Farther than heaven's heaven are you, nearer to me than the flesh on my bones. What have I offered to you but my spirit? How shall I lift my eyes to you? How can my tongue give praise? The signs of your love are countless, as are my sins, more numerous than the sands of the sea. So guide me toward the right path, my teacher, my keeper of faith, source of all I know. When my heart speaks, I hear the words myself, and you, may you hear me too.
Please turn the page for the Baruch Hu, the call to worship. Be seated.
On page 25, we join together. Day and night are yours, creative spirit of the universe, the muted colors of twilight, the radiance of dawn. Yours are the spreading wings of light, the deepening shadows of darkness, and ever-changing drama. In the human heart, too, the struggle between darkness and light unfolds. From sunlit heights of generosity, the human heart sinks to the gloomy depths of selfishness. Although we fall, you give us the strength to rise again. You call on those who hurt through word or deed to break free from wrongdoing and return to you. All who hear your call to goodness are embraced. All who reject emptiness and evil find acceptance from you. We come into your presence this night of Kol Nidre, aware that our shortcomings and weaknesses are many, yet encouraged by your promise of forgiveness. We choose freely the path of repentance, restoring wholeness to our lives and holiness to the world.
Umavir yom, umevi laila, umavdil ben yom, uvein laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Amari v'ravim.
Amen.
Page 26.
If you know this, join in.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shofeinu u'kumenu nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach midivrei Toratecha u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed, ki hem chayenu. Shabbatcha al tasir mimenu le'or olamim. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Ohev amo Yisrael.
Please rise for the Shema. It's our tradition on Yom Kippur that even the Baruch Shem gets proclaimed aloud this day.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto,
Please be seated. We continue on page 30 with Ve'ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בהם ושבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך
ובקומך
וקשרתם להות על ידיך והיו לדודפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. Turn the page. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
On page 31. Listen, all you who wrestle with your fate. The intimate and the infinite are one. Trust that unity with your whole heart, doubt and all, with your whole soul and with all the powers at your command. Remember it, repeat it everywhere, working or resting, sitting or walking, night or morning, alone and to all who love you. See it written on your hand, on your brow, in every common place and in every face.
Adonai Elohechem Emet.
Page 39, Emet ve'emunah kol zot. Our sages taught it is proper to mention the exodus from Egypt in our morning prayers and also at night. We celebrate the going out from Egypt in the morning light, full of confidence and vigor as we enter the new day. But in the evening, weary from the day's exertions, cast down and fearful at the coming of the night, what can the Exodus teach us then? Our nighttime prayer brings hope and trust in the future. As God did not abandon our people long ago through the long, dark night of exile, so the Holy One will be with us in time to come. To stand by the one you love, that is the true essence of faithfulness, the meaning of emunah. So it is written in the Psalms, to proclaim your kindness in the morning and your faithfulness in the nights. Sing with joy in the mornings of your life, when light surrounds you and the world seems beautiful and good. And in the evenings of your life, when you dwell in sorrow and the world seems dark, do not despair. Turn the page. Together, witnesses to this heroic might, the people thanked and praised God by name, freely accepting the reign of heaven. Then Moses and Miriam and all Israel sang to you this song of utter joy.
Malchutecha, Ra'u Yaakov. וגלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני. גל ישראל.
The prayer after the Michamoch is called Hashkiveinu, calls us to lie down in peace. And let us live, let us be risen again to life renewed. This beautiful setting is by a cantor from Miami named Rochelle Nelson. It contains Hebrew and English together. It's a beautiful rendition. If you know some of it, you might join in or simply hum along to this rendition.
Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu. May we lie down this night in safety and peace. May we wake each day to life and to love. May we wake each day to life and to love. Ufros alenu sukat shelomecha. May we spend our days in your sheltering presence, protected from evil, sadness and harm, protected from evil, from danger. Ushmor Tzeitzenu Oeinu. May we journey through life. May we journey through life. Ushmor Tzeitzenu Oeinu. In the shadow of your wings, in the shadow of your wings, O God of compassion, O God of grace, our shield and salvation, both now and forever. O God of compassion, O God of grace, our shield and salvation, both now and forever.
Because it's Shabbat, on the next page you'll find Vishamru. There are only 40,000 tunes for Vishamru. This is one that Debbie Friedman wrote 40 years ago. That is truly beautiful and has always stayed in my heart. If you know, please join in.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השבת השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת, שבת וינפש השבת, שבת וינפש, שבת, שבת וינפש.
On the facing page is one of those signature statements. Please read it, Rabbi Gorban.
For on this day atonement shall be made for you to purify you from all your wrongs, and pure you shall be in the presence of Adonai.
As you are able, please rise for the Chatzi Kaddish before the Amidah.
Yitkadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Bi'alma divrach hirutei ve'yamich malchutei b'chayeichon uvyomeichon ufchayei dechol Beit Yisrael b'hagalah v'zman kariv yimeru.
Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'yad mi'amaya yitbarach yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudashah B'richu
li'elah u'li'elah min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alema v'yimeru.
On page 46, verses from Psalm 51, which come before the Adonai Svatai, we join together. Have mercy upon me, O God, as befits your faithfulness.
In keeping with your abundant compassion, blot out my transgressions.
Wash me thoroughly of my iniquity, and purify me of my sin. For I recognize my transgressions, and am ever conscious of my sin.
Adonai sefatai tifta ufi agiti latecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Kolei HaKol, V'zocher Hasei Avot v'Imaot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. זוכרנו לחיים, מלך חפץ בחיים, וכותבנו בספר החיים, למענך אלוהים חיים, מלך עוזר. ומשיח ומגן,
Shalom Adonai, Mechayea Kol Atara Hoshia, Morir Atav, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayea Kol Berachamim Rabim, Tzomech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha B'Gehurot, Umido Melach, Melech Emit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, Michamocha El HaRachamim, Zocher Yitzurav, Chaim Berachamim, V'ne'eman ata l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hakol.
Amen.
Page 53.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע.
Please be seated.
We continue with the prayer acknowledging God's holiness by speaking of how we experience God's holiness through awe. And so, in your holiness, give all creation the gift of awe. Turn our fear to reverence. Let us be witnesses of wonder, perceiving all nature as a prayer come alive. We bow to the sovereignty of your strength with the primacy of your power. We yearn for connection with all that lives, doing your will with wholeness of heart. Awe-inspiring is your creation, all-encompassing your transcendent name. On 55, you know how to create a heart of stone that you can lift. You know how to create a heart that will know how to get out of pits, that cast itself, that was sold. You know how to warm with your hand a heart frozen from too much. You know. On 56, we join together. And so in your holiness, give the righteous the gift of a vision bright with joy, a world where evil has no voice, and the rule of malevolence fades like wisps of smoke. Good people everywhere will celebrate the stunning sight of arrogance gone from the earth. Page 58. V'timloch atah Adonai levadecha al kol ma'asecha. You and you alone, Adonai, will reign over creation upon Mount Zion, home of your presence, and in Jerusalem, a city set apart by you. As the psalmist believed, Adonai will reign eternally, your God Zion, for all generations. Hallelujah. Kadosh atah v'norah shemecha ve'ein Eloah mibaladecha. You are holy, your name is awe. There is nothing divine beyond you. As the prophet Isaiah taught, the source of all might is exalted through justice, the God of holiness made holy through righteousness.
Baruch atah Adonai, HaMelech HaKadosh.
Amen.
Together in the middle of page 60.
You chose us with love to be messengers of mitzvot, and through us made known your aspirations. Among all the many peoples, you gave us a pathway to holiness. Among all the great nations, you uplifted us and made yourself our sovereign. And so we seek you and serve you and celebrate our nearness to your presence.
Your great and sacred name has become our calling.
62.
ותיתן לנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה את יום השבת הזה לקדושה ולמנוחה ואת יום הכיפורים הזה למחילה ולסליחה ולכפרה ולמחול בו את כל עוונותינו באהבה מקרא קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים.
On the facing page, like smoke above the altar, may a memory of us ascend and come before you. As Israel once came to you with offerings from the flock, so we bring to you the offerings of our mouth. not lip service, but heartfelt prayer. So the prophet taught together, Return, O Israel, to Adonai your God, for you have fallen because of your sin. Take words with you and return to Adonai. Accept the words we set before you, awkward and imperfect as they are, our hesitant questions, our corrosive doubts. Accept too our silences, our thoughts that rise in the stillness, our faith that coheres for a fragile instant, then dissipates like smoke above the altar. Our God and God of the generations before us, may a memory of us ascend and come before you. May it be heard and seen by you, winning your favor and reaching your awareness, together with the memory of our ancestors, the memory of your sacred city, Jerusalem, and the memory of your people, the family of Israel. May we be remembered for safety, well-being, and favor, for love and compassion, for life and peace on this day of atonement.
Zachreinu Adonai Eloheinu bo letova.
Amen.
Ufokteinu vo livracha.
Amen.
Yoshienu vo lechayim.
Amen.
Eternal our God, remember us.
Amen.
Wait, hold on a sec. Eternal our God, remember us.
Amen.
And be mindful of us.
Amen.
And redeem us for a life of goodness and blessing.
Amen.
Amen.
On the facing page, they said redemption would come only when no one's expecting it anymore. And one night they sat silent and awake at the thresholds of their stores and homes and didn't expect redemption. And when dawn rose, there were tears rolling down from all the rooftops.
Page 66. Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu mechal avonotenu b'yom Shabbat hazeh u'b'yom Kippurim hazeh mechei v'aver p'shainu v'chatotenu ming'neged einecha kamur Anochi u'moche p'shaicha lemani v'chatotecha lo ezkor v'nemar Machitika p'shaecha v'chenan chatotecha Shuva elai ki aticha v'nemar Ki vayom hazeh yichaper alechem letaher etchem mikol chatotechem lifnei Adonai titaru.
On the facing page from Psalm 130, the Psalm for Yom Kippur, and one of the Psalms for this season of awe, we join together. Out of the depths I call you.
Hear me in this darkness as I cry for mercy. I long for your word, I wait for your forgiveness. You offer love, you free me from my sins. I yearn for your light, more eager than watchers for the morning. Help me to know your peace.
On 68, we join together. God who is ours and God of our fathers and mothers, may our rest on this Shabbat bring you pleasure. Lead us to holiness through your mitzvot, and may each of us find a portion of Torah that is ours. You bestow such goodness. Teach us to be satisfied and to know the joy of your salvation. Let your holy Shabbat be our heritage, embraced freely and with love. And may all our people bring holiness to your name by resting on this day.
Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu retzei v'mnuchatenu Kadshenu b'mitzvotecha v'tein chelkeinu b'toratecha Saveinu mituvecha v'samcheinu b'shuatecha v'hanchilenu Adonai Eloheinu be'ahava u'v'ratzon Shabbat kodshecha v'yanuchu v'Yisrael mekadeshei shemecha.
On the next page.
V'taher libenu, v'taher libenu, v'taher libenu le'ovdecha be'emet. V'taher libenu, v'taher libenu, v'taher libenu le'ovdecha be'emet.
Ki ata salchan li'Yisrael, u'machalan l'shivtei Yeshurun b'chol dor v'dor, u'mibaladecha en lanu melech mochel v'soleach ele'ata.
On the facing page, we join together at the top. Pure
heart, clear mind, generous vision,
gentle words, the courage to say yes, the strength to say no, steadiness in your work, purpose every day.
I set you before me always,
mindful of you. May I never be shaken.
Baruch atah Adonai, melech mochel v'solech la'avonoteinu, ve'la'avonot amot Beit Yisrael, u'mavir ashmotenu b'chol shana v'shana, melech al kol haaretz, mekadesh Shabbat v'Yisrael, v'yom HaKippurim.
Amen.
We ask God to accept our prayers on page 72. Page 75. It doesn't have to be the blue iris. It could be weeds in a vacant lot or a few small stones. Just pay attention, then patch a few words together, and don't try to make them elaborate. This isn't a contest, but the doorway into thanks and a silence in which another voice may speak. We continue with the Chatima, with the signature of the Thanksgiving prayer on page 76.
Baruch atah Adonai, atov shemecha ulechaneh lehodot.
Amen.
We continue with Shalom Rav, page 78.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael.
So I figure there are 14.5 million Jews in the world. And maybe 8 or 9 million of them are at Yom Kippur. And all of you who come to Yom Kippur say about, maybe 10,000 words. That's more than 150 million words. And by the way, Barbara will check my math because I'm so bad at math. All these words were written by other people. They're written in the Torah, they're written in the Psalms, they're written by the rabbis. And because of this new book, I always find it crazy, until 1978, the Reform movement didn't know there were women poets. It's kind of bizarre. But this book, we have this glorious, glorious wording from women poets. But none of them has the words that are etched on your heart right now. So why don't you take a moment in silence? You might even close your eyes, and the air conditioning is working. So you might offer up your own prayer of hope, of joy, of thanks, of longing on this Yom Kippur. Please pray quietly. From one of the other great poets of our time, Leonard Cohen.
If it be your will that I speak no more, and my voice be still as it was before, I will speak no more. I shall abide until I am spoken for, if it be your will. If it be your will that a voice be true from this broken hill, I will sing to you. From this broken hill, all your praises they shall ring. If it be your will to let me sing, if it be
be your will. If there is a choice, let the rivers fill, let the hills rejoice, let your mercy spill on all these burning hearts in hell. If it be your will to make us well and draw us near and bind us tight, all your children here in their rags of light, in our rags of light, all dressed to kill and end this night, if it be your will, if it be your will.
Time has come for the Vidui, the confession. Please turn the page. We're going to start with the creative reading on 83. When I was young and learned the alphabet, life was open to me. A was full of aspiration, B was for beauty, C for confidence, and D for dreams. And so on through the list, no fewer than 26 opportunities, 26 possibilities, and yet I fear that with the passage of time, I've squandered them, creating instead A's of apathy, B's of brusqueness, and C's of coarseness. Help me then to return to that innocence. Let the letters be letters once again, and let them rise to the heavens and form into words that you know I wish to say. We continue with Tavo Lefanecha on the facing page. So as we begin the Ashamnu, the alphabetic acrostic that not only says our individual sins, but it's in first person plural, how we have let each other down. The custom for those who are used to it is to literally take your fist and go, my gosh, my heart, you made me do this. As if hopefully next time it won't.
Ashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazalnu, Dibarnu Dofi, Avinu Behirshanu, Zadnu, Hamasnu, Tafalnu Shaker, Yatsnura, Kizavnu, Latsnu, Maradnu, Niatsnu, Sararnu, Avinu, Pashanu, Sararnu, Kishinu Oref, Rasanu, Shichatnu, Tiavnu, Tainu, Titanu.
Let's read the translation together. Of these wrongs we are guilty. We betray, we steal, we scorn, we act perversely. We are cruel, we scheme, we are violent, we slander. We devise evil, we lie,
we ridicule, we disobey.
We abuse, we defy, we corrupt, we commit crimes. We are hostile, we are stubborn, we are immoral, we kill, we spoil, we go astray.
We lead others astray.
Turn ahead to 86 for the Al-Chet. If you know the Hebrew, feel free to join in. Otherwise, please join in on the English of each of the couplets. Al-Chet shechatanu lefenecha bezadon v'ishgaga, ve'al-Chet shechatanu lefenecha b'dibur peh.
The way we have wronged you deliberately and by mistake, and the harm we have caused in your world through the words of our mouths. Al-Chet shechatanu lefanecha be'imutz halev, ve'al-Chet shechatanu lefanecha b'tifshut peh.
The ways we have wronged you by hardening our hearts, and harm we have caused in your world through careless speech.
Al-Chet shechatanu lefenecha bechachash v'chazav, ve'al-Chet shechatanu lefenecha berechilut.
The ways we have wronged you through lies and deceit, and harm we have caused in your world through gossip and rumor. Al-Chet shechatanu lefanecha b'flilut, ve'al-Chet shechatanu lefanecha b'zilzul horim umorim.
The ways we have wronged you by judging others unfairly, and harm we have caused in your world through disrespect to parents and to teachers.
Al-Chet shechatanu lefenecha b'vidui peh, ve'al-Chet shechatanu lefenecha b'hona'at re'ah.
The ways we have wronged you through
insincere apologies, and harm we have caused in your world by mistreating a friend or neighbor. Al-Chet shechatanu lefanecha b'chozek yad, ve'al-Chet shechatanu lefanecha b'masav matan.
The ways we have wronged you through violence and abuse, and the harm we have caused
in your world through dishonesty in business.
For all these failures of judgment and will, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement.
Page 89, we continue with failures of integrity. Please join with me. We wrong you when we wrong ourselves. For our failures of integrity, Adonai, we seek forgiveness. For passing judgment without knowledge of the facts, and for distorting facts to suit our purposes. For succumbing in silence to social pressure, and for acquiescing in beliefs we find offensive. For using others' bad behavior to excuse our own,
and for blaming others for our mistakes and poor decisions, for pretending to emotions we do not feel, and for appearing to be other than what we are, for condemning in our children the faults we tolerate in ourselves, and for tolerating in ourselves the faults we condemn in our parents.
We dishonor you when we dishonor our society. For our failures of justice, Adonai, we seek forgiveness together. For being indifferent to deprivation and hunger, while accepting a culture of self-indulgence and greed. For abuse of power in boardrooms, courtrooms, and classrooms. For accepting the neglect of children and elders, the ill and the weak. For permitting social inequalities to prevail. For lacking the vision to transcend our selfishness. For glorifying violence and turning hastily to war. For allowing history to repeat itself. For behaviors that risk the future of our planet. And for wreaking havoc on our only true inheritance, God's creation.
We sin against you when we hurt one another. For our failures of love, Adonai, we seek forgiveness together.
For exploiting one another for our own pleasure.
And for the wounds we cause through betrayal and deception.
For
withholding affection from those we claim to love.
And for using love to control our spouses and partners, our children and parents. For abandoning friends and siblings whose love has sustained us, and for neglecting those who love us when they need us most. For harboring in our relationships mistrust, boredom, and disloyalty, and for rejecting our partner's efforts at repair and renewal. For possessiveness, jealousy, and avarice, and for lashing out in anger at those who are closest to us.
We're going to continue with the Al Kulam at the bottom of the page. Turn to 93. I actually cut out one paragraph where we beat ourselves up just a little bit more, but I thought we beat ourselves up pretty good. Actually, some of us have done good in this world in this last year. And this prayer at 93 reflects that. It has this refrain, Ala tikun shetikanu lefanecha, for the repair, for the healing that we ourselves have healed. It says, God, our Creator and Guide, let us speak now of the healing acts by which we bring you into the world, the acts of repair that make you a living presence in our lives. Alitikun shetikanu lefanecha, together, for the act of healing
we have done openly or anonymously, and for the act of repair we have done without personal gain.
Alitikun shetikanu lefanecha,
for the act of healing we have done by seeking forgiveness, and for the act of repair we have done by forgiving others.
Alitikun shetikanu lefanecha,
for the act of healing we have done through righteous giving, and for the act of repair we have done by opening our hearts.
Alatikun shetikanu lefanecha,
we have done by comforting the mourner and visiting the sick. And
the
for the
act of repair we have done by pursuing justice and human rights,
fairness and civility.
Alatikun shetikanu lefanecha,
for the act of healing we have done by making peace between one person and another, and for the act of repair we have done by protecting nature and all its creatures.
Alatikun shetikanu lefanecha,
the act of healing we have done by teaching our children the ways of peace, and for the act of repair we have done by teaching our children the ways of Torah.
Alatikun shetikanu lefanecha,
for the act of healing we have done by honoring elders and loving the stranger, and for the act of repair we have done in response to your commandment, choose life and blessing.
The Al Kulam.
And all these bring nearer the day when you shall be one and your name shall be one.
If you'll turn ahead, there's a very famous prayer of 98 called Shema Kolenu, hearken to our voice, that's sung by Cantor Berman now.
Shema Kolenu Adonai Eloheinu, Hus v'rachim aleinu, v'kabel berachamim uvratzon, et tefillatenu, 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 Yameinu kekedem, Kaddish Yameinu kekedem, Amoreinu Azinu Adonai binagigenu, Ihu l'ratzon imrefinu vegion libenu lefanecha, Adonai tzurenu go'aleinu, Al tashlichenu milefanecha, Beruach kadshecha, Al tikach mimenu, Al tashlichenu litzikna, Kichlot kochenu, Al tazvenu, Al tazvenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Al terachak mimenu, Ki lecha Adonai ochanu, Ata dane Adonai Eloheinu.
Please look at page 100. God of forgiveness, we come before you in need of compassion. At Sinai, you spoke words that guide our lives of this day, but our ancestors lost faith in you, lost hope in their Redeemer. With one voice they proclaimed, we will do and obey, and yet stiff-necked they broke their word, adoring an idol of gold. How wondrous your compassion in the face of their rebellion, your forgiveness in that moment of human weakness and doubt. Together, we too have broken promises to you. We too worship the work of our own hands.
We too make of gold a god, and we too forsake your word. Sinai, you revealed 13 attributes of mercy. These aspects of your nature, your very essence, we now recall.
Adonai, Adonai, El Rahum V'Chanun, Erech Hapayim V'Rav Chesed V'Emet, Dotzer Chesed L'Olamim, Notzer Avon V'Fesha V'Chata V'Nakeh.
Look at the facing page, just the first two lines in English, because then it'll be sung in Hebrew. An amazing tune. As parents show tenderness to their children, may you show mercy to those who worship you. Listen to the tune. Let it penetrate your heart. One of the beautiful things about this new book is that if you are not familiar with the Hebrew, or these are not tunes you grew up with, you could look at the notes. You say, what is it about? You could look at a different page. We don't demand uniformity. The next poem is how we are like clay in the hands of the potter. It's a beautiful rendition on 102 and 103.
First, we'll join together in the English.
That's 103.
Consider the clay in the potter's hand, stretched and rolled as the artist desires. So are we in your hand, our loving protector. Look to the covenant, not our imperfection. Consider the stone in the mason's hand, broken or kept whole as the stone cutter sees fit. So are we in your hand, creator of life and death.
Look to the covenant, not our imperfection.
Consider the iron in the welder's hand, held to the flame or removed at will. So are we in your hand, provider for the poor and afflicted. Look to the covenant, not our imperfection. Consider the helm in the seafarer's hand, steering or drifting as the sailor wills it. So are we in your hand, our God of goodness and forgiveness. Look to the covenant, not our imperfection.
Consider the glass in the glazier's hand, rounded and melted as the artist desires.
So are we in your hand, the one who pardons our errors and our wrongdoings. Look to the covenant, not our imperfection.
Please join on page 102. The tune goes like this.
ברצותו מרחיב וברצותו מקצר כן אנחנו יד החסד נעוצר לברית הבית ואל תפן היצר. Last verse. הנה כי זרוחית ביד המזגג ברצותו חוגג וברצותו ממוגג כן אנחנו יד המעביר לאדון לברית הבית ואל תפן היצר.
Turn ahead to 106. You know, not all of my teachers at rabbinical school were professors. There was a teacher of Bible, Chanan Brichta, who I dearly loved. His wife, Millie, taught me that this prayer, Ki Anu Amecha, is the essence of theology. All theology is relationship. And as we sing this to a beautiful folk tune, if you know it, join in. Otherwise, read the English. It's all about the connection in all its different facets. You can imagine it friend to friend, mother to daughter. You can imagine it to grandparents, where we imagine all these different kinds of connections as Ki Anu Amecha is sung. Ki Anu Amecha ve'atata Eloheinu Anu Banecha ve'ata Avinu Anu Avadecha ve'atata Adonenu Anu Kehecha ve'ata Chelkeinu Anu Nachlatecha ve'ata Goraleinu Anu Tzolmecha ve'ata Roeinu Anu Kanecha ve'ata Notreinu Anu Pe'ulatecha ve'ata Yotzreinu Anu Rayatecha ve'ata Dodeinu Anu Segulatecha ve'ata Keroveinu Anu Amecha ve'ata Malkeinu Anu Mamirecha ve'ata Mamireinu. So look at the English. We'll share each sentence. We are your people.
And you are our God.
We are your children.
And you are our Father, our Mother.
We are the people who serve you.
And you call us to serve.
We are your community.
And you are our portion.
We are your legacy.
And you are our purpose.
We are your flock.
And you are our shepherd.
We are your vineyard.
And you watch over us.
We are your work.
And you are our maker.
We are your beloved.
And you are our lover.
We are your treasure.
And you are the one we cherish.
We are your people.
And you reign over us.
We offer you our words.
And you offer us yours.
So forgive us,
pardon us, lead us to atonement.
Please rise for the Avinu Malkeinu on 114, as you are able. Wait. Here and there. Introduction. No, just doing it. Avinu Malkeinu Shema Kolenu, together.
Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, hear our voice. Avinu Malkeinu chatanu lefanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu chamol aleinu ve'al olaleinu v'tapenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and on our families. Avinu Malkeinu kala dever v'cher v'ra'av me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu. Avinu Malkeinu kala kol tsar u'mastin me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, halt the reign of those who cause pain and terror. Avinu Malkeinu, kotvenu b'sefer chayim tovim.
Avinu Malkeinu, enter our name. Avinu Malkeinu, chadesh aleinu shana tova.
Avinu Malkeinu, renew for us a year of goodness. Avinu Malkeinu, malei yadeinu bibirchotecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, harem kerem meshichecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, let our eyes behold the dawn of redemption. Avinu Malkeinu, na al Hashkiveinu rekam milfanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, we pray. Avinu Malkeinu, kabel barachim v'ratzon et tfilatenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, welcome our prayer with love, accept and embrace it. Avinu Malkeinu, aseh manu leman shemecha. Avinu Malkeinu, act.
Avinu Malkeinu, aseh lemancha im lo lemanenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, act for your sake, if not for ours. Avinu Malkeinu, en lanu melech ela ata.
Avinu Malkeinu, patach sharei shamayim letfilatenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, let the gates of heaven be open to our prayer. Avinu Malkeinu, shma kolenu, chus v'rachem aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, chanenu ve'anenu, ki en banu ma'asim aseh manu tzedakah v'chesed v'hoshienu.
Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, answer us with grace, our deeds are wanting. Save us through acts of justice and love.
So we're about to sing the Avinu Malkeinu in a beautiful setting by Michael Isaacson. We've been debating all week throughout the Reform Rabbinate. It's rare that Yom Kippur occurs on Shabbat. Do you do Avinu Malkeinu? I mean, God's supposed to get a break from all of our hawking, all of our requests. And the question went up and up in our movement to Rabbi, Dr. Professor Mark Wachowski, professor of Talmud at HUC in Cincinnati. And he said that the Ashkenazim do not do Avinu Malkeinu on Shabbat, but the Sephardim do. So tonight we'll be Sephardim and do Avinu Malkeinu.
Oh
Please be seated. I want to especially thank Cantor Berman for working with our teens in the Or Zarua. I expect them to sing this arrangement of Avinu Malkeinu next year. You got an assignment. You hear me? I know. Rachel just went, what? I remember it so well. Demarest, New Jersey. A friend had just ditched me to play with another friend. I was 9 years old. I felt rotten. I tried hanging around the house, but my mom was having none of it. The weather's nice. Go out and play. I don't wanna. She glared at me so hard I ran out the front door. And I stayed up for hours, long after the time I should have been home for dinner. If she wanted me out of the house, I'd show her. My dad finally got in the car, the big old Ford Country Squire with the fake wood on the side. And he went looking for me. He found me in the middle of town walking beside a stream. He drove 2 miles an hour and asked me to get into the car. And since in those days I was really a piece of work, I said, no, you can't make me. He pulled the car over and parked. As he got out and approached me, I was afraid he was going to pick me up and throw me in the station wagon, but instead he fell in walking beside me. I continued to mope. And finally my dad said, Jamie, when will this day come again? As a kid I thought, that's easy, next week. He said, try again. I said, okay, next month. But that was wrong too. I looked at my dad and said, this exact date, next year. He shook his head and said, Jamie, that's next year. That's not this day. This day will never come again. This realization rocked me and my kid brain. I could brood about how cruel life was, but that day was never coming back to me. Each day is different. Each day a challenge. Each day a gift. We sometimes have to be roughly reminded of this simple fact that I learned when I was 9. Kol Nidre is just such a reminder as well. This night is not the same as last year's or any others. The Torah we read tomorrow declares, you are standing here this day, all of you before Adonai, to enter into the covenant of God. I make this covenant not with you alone, but with those who are standing here this day before Adonai, and with those who are not here with us this day. Our sages ask, who are the ones not standing with us this day? And they give a bold answer, one that defies logic. You and me. All the future generations of our people, born Jews and converts, all who choose to stand with us, stood there to receive this message. All of us, time travelers, we stand here this night in this unique moment, a moment foreshadowed by Torah, a moment that will never come again. Aten nesavim hayom kulchem. You are standing here, all of you, on this day. Look around. No, I mean it. Look around. Look at all the people surrounding you right now. Think of the hundreds that were here before you. Think of those who are coming tomorrow. By the end of Yom Kippur, 2,000 people will have been here in this place on this day, this holy moment. This is the 30th time I have stood with you, our Temple Sinai family on Kol Nidre. This is the 30th time you have allowed me to speak from my heart about what is going on in our Jewish lives. It is an extraordinary honor and responsibility, and I stand before you this night humbled beyond words. The humility does not only stem from inadequacy, it comes from knowing so many of you so well. We have lived through birth and death, b'nai mitzvah and weddings, harrowing hospital crises, and crowning personal achievements. We have shared injury, unspeakable sadness, remarkable recoveries, and personal tales of endurance and sheer will. When I wrestle with this verse, Atem netzavim hayom kulchem, you who are standing here this day, all of you, I think of you. I think of you and your stories, and my heart overflows with them tonight. Tonight, I'd like to share with you 4 of them, but with a caveat, with a warning. I've changed names and altered details of the accounts that I will share. Let no one here think tonight that their private lives were opened for public display. All these stories are composites of many individuals and families and our shared times over 3 decades. Atem nitzavim hayom kulchem, who is standing here this night? A couple, Shana and Sam. They stand here having achieved 55 years of loving marriage. They weathered the storms of raising children, mastering careers and crises. They've danced life's dance so well, they know each other's moves without thinking. But now the music has changed and they don't know the steps. Health issues claim every moment of their time. Life is an endless round of appointments with doctors, specialists, and clinics, and new medicines eat up their monthly budget. The kids live out of town. They care, they call, they visit when they can. But Shana and Sam have to handle all the challenges of daily living as they age into infirmity. Sam is having trouble keeping his temper. He forgets things constantly. He can't hold a fork without dropping it, which gets him even angrier, and he refuses to accept help because he feels embarrassed. So Shana gets embarrassed instead when he loses it in public. They are bewildered and scared, afraid that their savings will run out and leave them poor and dependent. They are afraid as they have never been in their married lives, and they stand here on Kol Nidre in silent fear this night. We feel for them. We offer to help them, and they will still refuse so politely because they are still so proud. Atem nitzavim hayom kulchem. Who else is standing here this night? Antonia is standing here. Her husband left her 10 years ago, but she's rebounded nicely. She's in her early 50s, her kids having flown the coop. After having endured the shock of rejection and the difficulty of living with one income, Antonia found her groove. She went to community college. She learned computer programming and latched on with a startup that was looking for people who have both computer skills and life skills, which Antonia has in spades. She makes a great living. But beyond her success, she is nagged by a sense that she is missing something. Not socially, she's never lacked for friends or dates. No, she wonders, what is this all for? The struggle, the pain, even the joy of her life, what does any of it mean? And Antonia was surprised when she found some of her answers here at this synagogue. You see, she hated her temple as a kid, but now searching to fill a hole inside, she finds that she's ready to look at Judaism and frankly at life with a different set of questions than before. She no longer insists that if our tradition isn't all true, then it must be all false. She's learned that Bible stories for children are Bible stories for children. Antonia was amazed to find that the Torah is unafraid to take on family conflict, violence, sex, greed, power, and privilege. And she finally asked me, why didn't you teach me any of this when I was a kid? It would have been helpful to know the Torah was not merely fables. And I have to admit, it's a shortcoming. I did the rabbi thing. I answered a question with a question. Antonia, did you really want those kinds of discussions when you were 14? Maybe you wanted just the stories because you weren't interested in the bigger issues. And she exploded. Of course I did. I wanted the hard stuff. No one would answer my questions about why Abraham agreed to sacrifice Isaac in the first place or why God flooded the whole world. I wanted to be taken seriously, and I wasn't. And Antonia is right. She wasn't taken seriously, and she deserved to be. Antonia speaks for an entire generation that grew up in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. I have to admit that for the most part, the Jewish world failed that generation. We thought if we simply taught kids holidays and Bible stories, our job was done, and we were wrong. They deserved more. They deserved the best and most challenging of what Judaism has to offer. And yet, Antonia is here tonight. She is filled with passion about how being Jewish will touch her heart, not roll off her back when she leaves Yom Kippur tomorrow. I invite her and all of you who believe you were not taken seriously when you were younger to come to my new Wednesday evening class, the Rabbi's Class, and you will be treated like the adult you are. We will not shy away from controversy. Ask about the meaning of the Torah. Ask about Jewish values. Ask about Israel. Ask your toughest questions. And together we will search for and find some answers. And not just in my class. If the questions are really hard, bring them to her, who was there. Rabbi Gorbin, who was sitting there. To her adult B'nai Mitzvah class. Bring them on Sunday morning to Cantor Berman's Bereshit class. Don't spare us. We're ready for you. Bring it on. It's your birthright. Don't squander it. Atem netzavim hayom kulchem. Who is standing here this night? Dan is a young man of 22, and he has little patience for tradition and commentary. He wants direct action to do tikkun olam, world repair. He doesn't want to learn Torah or sing Jewish music. He thinks we should be out in the streets confronting injustice. Everything else is secondary to Dan. Dan wants to know why I have not taken to the streets with him. Join the resistance. Put on that pussy hat he keeps trying to give me. When I try to explain, he interrupts. He says, my words are merely excuses. It's a direct challenge, one that makes me angry inside. It makes me want to raise my voice in response. Dan feels we should confront Israel every day over the occupation of Palestinians in the West Bank and East Jerusalem. He demands to know why I don't join him in the boycott, divest, and sanction movement, BDS. For him, BDS is so obvious as not to brook discussion. It's something we can do, he explains. And I envy Dan his certainty, his absolute conviction that what he believes is right and what he's doing is good. It's not like I don't remember being certain. 1971, we took to the streets to end the war in Vietnam. In Minneapolis, Minnesota, the police confronted us. When I saw the police, I quietly made my way to the back of the crowd. My friends were arrested. I was embarrassed that I was so scared. But I did show up in the court to support them. Almost everyone was charged with blocking traffic, and the case was dismissed en masse, except my friend, Danny Levine, son of one of our rabbis, Rabbi Joe Levine. He was charged with the crime of, are there any lawyers here? Seriously, if you're a lawyer, raise your hand. I want you to hear this. There are some lawyers here. He was charged, this is a city ordinance in Minneapolis, with the crime of lurking with intent to commit mischief. Lurking with intent. The judge threw that out too. All this flashed through my mind as Dan castigated me for not taking to the streets with him. And when he finished, I told him that wherever hatred marches in Pittsburgh, I'll be proud to march with him, but no violence. And to my surprise, he agreed. This summer, a group from Temple Sinai protested in the streets of Jerusalem. We joined a protest of more than 1,200 against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. We protested his abandoning us, non-Orthodox Jews, over the issues of conversion and our right to pray, men and women together at the Western Wall. I think Dan would approve. But Dan and I will never agree on BDS. I think that context and complexity matter. I think 100 years of history and hatred matter. And I refuse to have the Israel I love reduced to a slogan or easy, dangerous platitudes like BDS, which if ever were to come to pass, hurts working Palestinians and endangers Israeli lives. I reject right-wing racist Israelis. I want Dan to reject those who want nothing less than Israel's destruction. I am passionately attached to the middle path, 2 states for 2 peoples living in limited peace with imperfect justice. And that said, I love Dan. He is filled with anger over the stupidity, hatred, racism, homophobia, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, the moral blindness he sees in this country, and he is here tonight. So he and I together will work with PIN and repair the world and bend the arc to change Pittsburgh for the better. And together, he and I will work with Seeds of Peace, the Merkaz Karama Shorashim Project, Sikui, and the Israel Religious Action Center to advance tolerance and peace, not cause by cause, but person by person, as long as it takes. Atem netzavim hayom kulchem. You are gathered here today, all of you. Who is standing here? Mary is here. Mary is a convert. having come to Judaism more than a decade ago, and she is tired of having people say to her, "You don't look Jewish." She has no patience with people who ask why she has a Christian name. She could just change it to Miriam, which Mary is derived from, but she feels she should not have to change her name to be accepted in our tribe. Our tribe. That's what Mary sees. When she began her studies, she hoped she would be fully accepted as Jewish for all of her knowledge and commitment. After her conversion, she asked me, "Now that I'm Jewish, can I pray to the God of the patriarchs and matriarchs, Abraham, Sarah, and the whole bunch, even if I'm not descended from them?" And we looked up the answer together. Moses Maimonides, the Rambam as he's called, the greatest medieval sage, philosopher, and lawgiver, was asked the same question by a convert in the 1200s. And Rambam answers us from 900 years ago. He says, "No, you are not allowed to pray to the God of our patriarchs and matriarchs. You're required to. You must." He ruled that they are now your ancestors, and you have every right and privilege a born Jew has. Mary is triumphant. The answer she has been looking for is right there in a document from the 12th century. And she no longer grimaces when people say stupid things about her name because she knows she belongs. Nothing anyone can say can make her question herself tonight. Maimonides validates her and her longing to be Jewish, and that's good enough for her and for me and should be for all of us. Fear, passion, anger, longing, all are here tonight, in addition to our aching for sweet forgiveness. I think I misinterpreted the verse tonight. Maybe it doesn't read, "You are all standing here together." No, maybe we should read it, "All of you, all of each of you." All of what is inside you, your fear, your passion, your anger, your longing. To be authentic Jews today, we need all of you, every single one of you. I say that our very survival depends on it. Leon Wieseltier is a major thinker in American Jewish life. To him, there is a major threat to our survival, and it ain't anti-Semitism from the left or the right, and it's not a tax on Israel. It's a refusal as individual Jews to embrace our heritage, to learn it, to engage it, to drink in our unique Jewish knowledge, the source of the values we claim to hold. Wieseltier reminds us that 4 generations ago, our great-grandparents were impoverished in goods, but rich in Jewish knowledge and spirit. Today, many of us are rich in goods, but incapable of listing the books of the Torah, much less what is inside of them. In Hebrew, don't even ask. That is why it is so critical that you all who stand here today, that you are standing here tonight, that you pour out your fear, your passion, your anger, your longing, and put it into embracing our heritage, engaging it, learning some of it, making it your own. Being Jewish is not a preference, like favoring bagels over baguettes. No, it is an essential way of being for those willing to stand here tonight and claim it for themselves. Claim it for yourself. Atem Nitzavim, all of you standing here tonight, all of you, all that is in you, not just all of you together. Atem Nitzavim, all of you, your psyche, your soul, your longing, even your despair. All of you, your intellect, your curiosity, your spiritual searching. All of you, all of us this night, which if you remember from the beginning, will never come again. I finally got into the car with Dad. We drove home in silence. When we got out, I begged him not to tell Mom I had been such a jerk. He smiled and squeezed my shoulder and said, "Our secret, okay?" And I threw my arms around his neck and kissed his cheek. a moment that will live in memory forever for me. This day, our 30th Kol Nidre together, will live in memory as well. Thank you for opening your hearts and lives to me these 30 years. Thank you for forgiving 30 years of my mistakes. Thank you for standing together with me here and now, this Kol Nidre, this day, the day we stand together, all of us, all of us, all of us. Amen.
ask you, how does one follow all of that? I'm Philip Lehman, and I have the privilege of following in the footsteps of the 32 past presidents of Temple Sinai, quite a few of whom are here this evening along with our lifetime trustees. Last week, we read about the binding of Isaac, how Abraham was tested by God. He passed that test, by the way. In that vein, I have a quiz for you on this most introspective of nights. As with Abraham, there's only one question. Why are you here? And I'm actually asking that seriously. Why are you here? Please think about that for a minute. And no, you don't get points for saying, well, because it's Kol Nidre. But I'll give you a break. This is an open book exam. There's some books in front of us. And it's a take-home exam. So send me your answers over the next couple of weeks, and there might even be a prize for the best one. And there's some test prep, so I'll give you some sample answers. Since this reminds me a little bit of school, please forgive me for using the vernacular of some of our millennial friends. They say stuff like, why do you like football? Answer, because Steelers. So why are you here? Here are some sample answers 1 through 3. Because Rabbi Gibson. Because Rabbi Gorban. Because Cantor Berman. Our clergy are our teachers and leaders and advisors and guides and friends. Sample answers 4 and 5, because services and because music. You're experiencing much of that, much of their richness this Yom Kippur and every week after this. And frankly, I saw some of you closing your eyes to let this all soak in. Sample answer 6, because our kids and the future. We continue to think about, grow, and develop learning and engagement opportunities for our young scholars here. Many of you know that this school year we introduced a new way of thinking about how our children learn about Judaism. Our program next door has an entirely new structure. If you don't have kids in school here, the model is essentially mini classes with project-based learning and themes like Hamel Torah. Our classrooms and some of the other venues where this takes place are, in fact, the rooms where this happens. So now, don't you want to go with our kids? Sample answer 7 is because inclusion. Because we live the words over our big front doors and on the banner outside. Our house shall be called a house of prayer for all peoples. We welcome people of all backgrounds, colors, and abilities in peace. Sample answer 8, because biennial. The URJ biennial is an expression that we're part of something larger. Reform Judaism is the largest denomination with more than a third of the Jews in North America. Despite our name, our movement is 144 years old. If you really want an experience, join those of us who are going for Friday night services at the Biennial in Boston this December with 5,000 of our closest friends. At Biennial 6 years ago, for example, one Devar speaker credited our movement with leading many of the steps, including the civil rights legislation, that made it possible for him to reach the job he held for 8 years. That person happened to be Barack Obama. And I'm asked, say, if you want more information, Frank's sitting right there. Sample 9, because things like Harvey and Irma and Maria, and the Reformed congregations and everyone else in the affected areas. And because Charlottesville, Virginia, and the events there, and so many other places, including Pittsburgh. Actually, my thoughts about what to say to you tonight changed the evening of August 18th when this sanctuary hosted an interdenominational service with remarks and attendance by leaders and members from area churches and mosques in the wake of the racist and anti-Semitic events in Charlottesville. Earlier that same day, Pittsburgh gathered downtown with Mayor Peduto to express our collective outrage. In the evening, this sanctuary, this room, with Rabbi Gibson's leadership, was where people came. So many that we had to open the back walls, much as this evening. This, I thought at the time, is part of why I am here. Our house that evening was indeed a house of much-needed prayer and gathering for all well-meaning people. Sample answer 10, as Rabbi Gibson said, because look around, you're not alone. We do things together. Women of Temple Sinai, Brotherhood, Party, which is our youth group, our centers, our inclusion and interfaith efforts, and so much more. We're here to support each other in happy times and challenging times. These are just hints. Rabbi Gibson gave you many more in his sermon. The rest of the answers are fill in the blanks. And we're easy graders, so I ask you again to think about why you're here. One more thing, to make it easier for you to be here, there's no admission test. Thanks to the work of many of our leaders, we took the radical step this year of introducing a thing called Pledge 2017. This model, that we're among the first few dozen congregations in the U.S. to adopt, is that you should determine your financial support for Temple Sinai. To be sure, we supply background, we tell you what it costs per family to run the place, to keep the lights on, to pay our incredibly dedicated and hardworking clergy and staff, and so forth. Then with that knowledge, we ask that you contribute from your heart in conjunction with your wallet. And I can report that this has been really well received. We've worked hard to remove traditional dues as a barrier to your being here. So it's traditional, as you know, for presidents to make an ask on the high holidays. Here's mine. Be here. I mean more than showing up. I mean be here in the sense that Abraham meant it when he said to God, as we read last week, Hineni, here I am, body, mind, and spirit. I mean support each other and your Temple Sinai, financially from your heart, physically with your hands. For example, we need some help building a sukkah shortly. Creatively with your minds, with open arms for each other and for our friends in need. When you're here, whatever the reason may be, say, I am here, Hineni. I look forward to a good year, a sweet year for Temple Sinai and for all of us, where I hope to talk more and exchange email with many of you here. Shana Tova.
For those of you who might not know me, my name's Louise Malakoff, and I am very grateful to have a few minutes to talk to you tonight. Like so many of you, as Rabbi Gibson's talk today made clear, I have a very special relationship with Jamie Gibson. And it's within the spirit of this special relationship that all of us are dedicating this year to commemorating his amazing 30 years of service for Temple Sinai. I'm joined by co-chairs Eileen and Jimmy Ross, Karen and Tony Ross, and my husband, Michael Malikoff, in announcing a series of events and programs to take part to celebrate this special year. Our theme for the year is We Honor Our Past and We Embrace Our Future. Of course, this 30th year has already begun, but the events will start the weekend of Friday, November 3rd through Sunday, November 5th, when Cantor Benji Ellen Schiller will be here. She's well known to many of us as the Distinguished Professor of Cantorial Arts at Hebrew Union College, Jewish Institute of Religion, the Debbie Friedman School of Sacred Music. I hope you'll join us to welcome her for that weekend. We'll have a special Shabbat dinner and a service, and then a Saturday evening concert called Jamie and Friends. In the spring, we'll host the Wiles Lecture on a topic of interfaith and interracial dialogue. Then on Sunday, April 29th, we'll hold a gala tribute dinner here at Temple Sinai to celebrate Rabbi Gibson's 30 years. The dinner will be the centerpiece of our annual campaign and set the stage as we move forward with our efforts to build the endowment that helps us support everything we do here. I'd like to invite all of you to join our tribute committee. As of this morning, we had 85 people already signed up, and everyone is welcome to participate in these activities and to join me in supporting Rabbi Gibson and Temple Sinai. If you're interested in being on the tribute committee, see one of us or let Barry Rudell know, and watch our highlights and our website for more information on the events. And when you see Rabbi Gibson, tell him thank you. Thank you, Lashana Tova.
Thank you. I'll thank you first. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank our presidents, our leadership. Thank Noah for staying awake most of the time. It's pretty amazing that she has. Tomorrow, I just wanted I can't give the whole schedule tomorrow. It's late. You've been so ridiculously patient. I don't want to belabor anything. Just some things if you haven't been here or were here for Rosh Hashanah. Over there, if you carry your phone, many people don't carry a phone on Yom Kippur, we have something called Selfie Corner. Take a picture of your family, smiling in beautiful dresses and great suits. Take a picture, send it to us. Over behind where the restrooms are, we have our own Western wall designed by Annie Wiedemann over there with notes. Write a note of your hopes, your dreams, your fears. I'll take them to Israel. Nobody will read them. I'll take them and I'll put them in the wall. I promise you I'll do that. Tomorrow, we have an amazing, amazing thing at 4 o'clock. Attack Theater is going to present I Am Jonah. Instead of just hearing the words, they are going to bring it to life in a way you can't even imagine. It's just amazing. I've watched the production take form in music, in dance, in words, with congregants participating and these amazing dancers. If I tried to twirl one time, I'd break my nose falling on it. I'll tell you, they're just amazing. 4 o'clock, come and be here as part of it. For all the day, there is nothing that we are trying to do everything throughout the day so that you can actually make this a sacred island in time. That's the whole point. We're going to go fairly quickly through our final prayers so that you can have an opportunity to greet each other, and we'll see you in the morning. 8 o'clock in the morning is the Tat Yom Kippur in the chapel. 8:30 we start, and we go right through. There are times listed. All times are approximate except when they're not. I'll let you figure that out for yourselves. And if I could have my friends and colleagues up here, Ellen, thank you very much as well, and the choir, thank you as well for staying up for us as well. We are on page 115, or 116, I'm bad at numbers, I'm sorry. If you would rise for Elena, that'd be great. Thank you.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, לא שם לנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
We're going right to V'ne'emar. 1, 2, 3. As it is Friday night, we read our list of yahrzeit names, including those who died more recently. It's our custom, if we read the name of somebody for whom you are saying Kaddish, that you rise in your place so we can recognize you as a mourner. After the list is completed, all of us will stand together so that no mourner will ever stand alone. This week, we especially commemorate the yahrzeits of Evelyn Glauser Bernstein, Faye Cohen, Frederica Barnett Cohen, Henry Cohen, Gil Dansker, and Gerald C. Davidson, Hannah Dolowski, Myra Drottman, Charles Engelman, Rose Exler, and Benjamin Frank, Abe Friedman, Sarah M. Goldberg, and Albert F. Goldstein, Molly Halpern, Paul Helfer, Charles Hinkes, and Theodore Kraut, Edna Licht, Emma Mamelin, Alvin Mann, Violet Miller, Clarice Oshry, Ethel Pariser, Irving L. Podolsky, Sally R. Raphael, Frida Recht, and Eugene Rosen, Teddy Rosalind Rosenblum, Robert Russakoff, Rose Schanfarber, Donald Schwartz, Rose N. Schwartz, Alex Sherman, Frida Spokane, and Abraham Weisblatt. And now remember those whose recent deaths we are still mourning: Rennie Green, Leonard Bernstein, Josie Shames, Joseph Rakowski, Harriet Sharap, Doré Epstein, Ann Minden, and Myron Taubé. We honor all of them with our Kaddish. We ask the congregation to rise and stand with them as their Kaddish is said. Kaddish is found on page 122. Yitgadal v'yikadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yomad yivrach iruteh v'yamlich malchuteh. B'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayedechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala v'zman kari v'yimru. Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah v'varach le'olam olamei maya. Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yitpa'ar, Yitomam, Yitnaseh, Yitadar, Yitalev, Yitalal, Shmei Kudsha, Brichu, Le'ela Minko, Birchata v'Shirata, Tush B'chata v'Nechemata, Damiram B'yoma v'Yimru. Amen. Yehei Shlom Rabba min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu V'el Kol Yisrael v'Yimru. Amen. Oseh Shalom b'Mromav, Huya Aseh Shalom, Aleinu ve'el Kol Yisrael v'Imru. Amen. May the source of peace in the high heavens cause peace to descend on all of us, all Israel, upon our shattered world, desperately in need of our healing of it, upon all of us who still mourn our beloved dead, as together we say, Amen. Amen. Our final song is Across from the Kaddish, just the first two lines of Sow in Tears and Reap in Joy. I'll invite Cantor Berman and Rabbi Gorman to stand out here with me as long as we have this thrust stage. This is the kind of song where even if you don't know somebody, you could put your arm around somebody. You could actually sway. And I'm not asking you to do anything that you don't want to do. It's all right. But the psalmist says, Hazorim b'dima barina yiksoru. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. May that be what we face this year. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. Let's have some harmonies, Russell. Those who sow in tears, that's you, Rachel, and these in joy will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. Just you. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Make it beautiful. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. the road next week, you'll get your emails next week too. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.